Hello. Happy Thursday. Yes, I'm here Thursday. And tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. And you'll notice by the title that it's a little different. Remind me later. And I wanted to kind of give you a little preview of what I talk about when I say how Cricut can be helpful when you're working with Stampin' Up! Products, but it isn't necessarily the go-to tool. So it's another tool in your tool belt, and I just kind of wanted to give you a little bit of kind of a sneak peek about what we're doing on Saturday. So if you are a Cricut user, or even a Cricut, and this is the Cricut that works with Design Space, so it's either one of the Explorer family or the Maker, then the Cricut can be a really great tool. But you need to kind of figure out when's a good time to use it. So tonight I'm going to show you how to put together a bag, and the cutie itty bitty little gift bags are, this is a situation where the Cricut can really make your life much easier. So let's look at both ways and then you can decide what you think. First things first though, when you're working with the Cricut, you have to have a file that tells you what to do, and that means that you have to create that file. In this case, I've created it for you. Remember, I tell you to go to the classroom. So I'm making things easier, but for right now, just go to karamiller.com and click on Classroom, and you'll see the free class for 2019 classes, and in there is the file. In fact, I can actually show you. So let me get back to where I was. You will go to the classroom, and when you get in here, why am I not seeing, oh, I'm on the wrong place, sorry. Let's go there. You will see live classes, the one with the frog. You click on that, it's free, and when you scroll down, you'll see everything that we've done this year. But if you go into the simple gift bag, this is the file in Design Space right here. Okay, so just so that you know. All right, so let's get back to how do we actually do this. All right, so first things first, you're going to need an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and that's going to make the bag. So just our regular cardstock. Oh, those of you that are in the cardstock share, they were shipped out today. A huge package went to the post office. Big, stretching my tote bags to the limit. And I'm going to let this cut while we do this without Design Space. So if you are making one bag, this is actually the Cricut Maker. Just going to show it to you for a minute and then I'm going to move it out of the way. If you are making one bag, creating a file in Design Space takes some time, and getting your Cricut set up and all of those things, you know, it's probably not worth the energy, perfectly honest. But let's say you're making party favors and you need to make 10 bags. Well, now having the Cricut do the scoring and the cutting and the measuring for you, that definitely makes it worth it. So if you are a Cricut user, you're looking at my mat and thinking, you don't have this in the perfect little corner. I know I don't, and I'll show you why when we get to that point. But basically, it's because Cricut starts its design in 1/4 of an inch, and I am using the entire 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and I want Cricut to put these score lines in where I want them. So, you know, a few tricks that you'll need to do. And again, if you're coming on Saturday, those are the things that we're going to talk about. So let's go back into and watch what happens. So we're going to tell Cricut, go ahead and make it. And it's going to pop it onto our mat. And notice it says it's going to score and cut. If you are not a Cricut user, you're looking at this going, this looks like algebra to me. Don't worry. If you're not a Cricut user, I'm going to show you how to do it with a scoring tool in just a minute. But I want to get this going. So it's trying to find my machine. I'm going to tell it what kind of cardstock I'm using. This is the Cricut, or is the Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and I always cut it on medium, and it works great. I can go a little bit faster, and it's going to want to have my scoring tool put in my machine. So I'm going to take this blade out. It's going to do both, but I need to take the cutting blade out and put the scoring tool in first. Oh, good, Joanne. And I'm going to tell it, go ahead. And now Cricut's going to do its magic. So first thing it has to do, and you're going to hear it a little bit, but it's going to have to make sure it's checking to see, do I have the right tool? Do I seem to know what I'm doing, or am I completely crazy? And it's going to find it. And then first thing it's going to do is go ahead and do the scoring where I told it to score. And it's doing all, I already set up my file, so it's going to score in the right place. And it's going to go ahead and score. And when it gets done with all of that, then it's going to tell me to change the blade, and it's going to cut. Okay? Now you'll notice that I'm only doing the bag part. I didn't tell the Cricut to cut this part because, to be perfectly honest, to cut a rectangle, it's really just as easy to use my trimmer. I could have, and if I was going to make 10 of these, well then I might put all 10 of these on one mat and let Cricut go ahead and cut them all. So that's where you have to decide what's the right tool. It's kind of like in your house. Let's say that you need to put a plate back on your light switch, you know, those little things that go on the wall, and it has one screw in it, maybe two. You're just going to grab your screwdriver. But if you're going to put together a bookcase, you're probably going to go get the electric drill and put it together, or find someone else to do it. You know what I mean? Okay, now Cricut has stopped because it wants me to change, and it tells me that. If I look in Design Space, it says Insert Fine Tip Blade. Alrighty. So we're going to take out our scoring tool, and we're going to bring our blade in. Pop that in and tell it, all right, go for it. And Cricut's going to go ahead, and it's going to cut the parts it needs to cut. First, it needs to look and make sure that I did it right. It doesn't trust me. And it's going to go right up into the top, and you're thinking, that's not where you're supposed to cut, Cricut. What are you doing? It's okay. It's figuring it out. And then it's going to stop. It's almost done. One more cut. And then we're all done. Okay. So now we're going to move Cricut over to one side. Bring our bag back. I'm going to unload. All right, so now this is what I have. And I'm going to, the best way to get your paper off your mat is to flip it over and take the mat away from the paper rather than the paper away from the mat. Then I don't get any kind of curling or rolling up or anything else. So if you can see, all my score lines are here, and I'm ready to put this together. I'm going to put this over here, and we're going to do it without the Cricut so that you can see, if you're not a Cricut user, this sketch is there for you, and we're going to do it this way. So we need our trimmer, not our trimmer, we need our scoring tool, and I need another 8.5 by 11. This is Greeny Apple Green, just because I like it. And you'll notice it tells you, you start with 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to score a short score at 1 inch. What does that mean exactly? Well, let's do the long ones first. These go all the way to the bottom. So I'm going to do 2 inches, 5.5, 7.5, 10.5. So 2 inches, 5.5, 7.5, 10.5. Okay? Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to score at 1, but I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. But you don't know, where do you really want to go? So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to score at 2 inches. Okay. So now this looks like this, right? Score at 2 inches right here. And I'm going to score, this comes to 6.5. I'm going to score to 5.5 at 1 inch. So I go to 1 inch. See, Cricut did all of this. I didn't have to do it. And right over here at 6.5, and I'm going to go down to about 5.5. Okay? All right. That's all my machine can, that's all my scoring tool can do. So I'm going to put that away. And then I'm going to get my trimmer, which is over here. See, Cricut did all of this. So here's a situation where once you've created that, you could use this bag with any color, with any design on the front. So creating this file is really useful, right? Because this is something you're going to do more than one time. So it's a couple things I need to do. I need to trim down, and it tells you that right here. Cut to the score. So you can either use your trimmer or you can take your scissors, and you're just going to cut up. Now again, this is a situation where if I'm just going to do one of these, this might be easier than creating a file. Since I already gave you the file, if you are a Cricut user, you can use it. Now, if you are not a Cricut user, I would not go out and buy a Cricut just so I can make a bag. But it definitely is a tool that can make your life easier. So you need to do that. And then one other thing I need to do is I need to score on a diagonal. I find it really hard to do that in the scoring machine, in that unit, to try and get it on a diagonal. So I'm not going to worry about it. Cricut did it. You can try putting it in here and lining it up. I find I just make a big mess with it. For me, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not good at figuring out where the diagonal is, and I usually make a bigger mess. The only reason I need that is to help my bag fold up. So we might be able to do it without that little fold up thing. It didn't really affect my bag. One more thing I need though is I need to cut this 5 3/4 by 3 piece of designer series paper. That's what the DSP stands for. If you download this and you're thinking DISP. DISP what? Designer series paper. So I have this little scrap left over, and I need a 5 3/4, which is what it is, by 3. I'd kind of like 2 of these because I'm going to make both of these bags. And then, okay, so there's my 2. You can see where that was just way quicker to use your trimmer. So that's where the trimmer comes in super handy. And then you're going to want just a scrap. And I put Your Friendship Means the World to Me, which is from the Free as a Bird. And I used my Granny Apple Green. And just a scrap of white design, Whisper White. So I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to do 2 of these because I'm going to want 2 of these bags. Right. Okay. Then I used this Pretty Label punch. I love this punch. So when it fits the stamp set, I love it. Notice I didn't cover my ink yet because I'm going to do a little inking around the edges. And I had a silicone sheet. Here it is. And I'm going to put my punch away. And my little dauber. And just a little bit around the edge. Okay, there's one. Whoops, did I not stamp this one? I did. There is still room in the Cricut class. So again, if you're a Cricut user, come join us. If you're not, you will not get anything out of that one. And you need to wait for the next one. Okay. So now I've done all my pieces and I'm ready to assemble. I'm going to use my tear tape because tear tape is the best for bags and boxes to keep things together. Alrighty. So the reason I did this first is because I'm going to put this down now so that I don't have to try and attach it to the front of a fully assembled bag. I can always put the label on later, but you know what? It's all easier if you can get all this stuff done ahead of time. And you kind of line this up in the middle of your score lines. And you notice that this doesn't really have any granny apple green in it, but there's so much white. I just really like this. This is, again, from the Free as a Bird Designer Series paper, I think. Or is this one from... Ooh, I should know. It's just a piece, so I'm not sure exactly. It could be from the Bloom one. I'll have to look. It could be from Bloom and Grow. Does anybody know for sure? Do you remember? Okay. Now, if you look really critically at this, you will notice that my score lines are not exactly perfect, the Cricut compared to the manual one, and it has to do with the placement on the mat. Because I'm not cutting this paper out. Now, if I was doing this using a piece of 12 by 12, then it would line up perfectly well. But because Cricut's not cutting this base out, it has to do with how I'm getting this placed on the mat, if that makes any sense. It's not going to affect the final outcome, but it might look a little bit different if you're looking at them right here side by side and saying, well, your score lines aren't lining up. Watch what happens. It'll be fine. I'm going to take my, my tear tape, and I'm going to run right down this tiny skinny piece, and that's the only place I need it for right now. Bird Ballard. Oh, thanks, Rosemary. So yes, then that came from, Bird Ballad is from the Free as a Bird. I thought that's where it was, but then I wasn't sure after I said it. Thank you. Okay, so put that in. Just line that up, it fits right in there, all the way down. And then I'm going to do the same on this one so we can see both of these little buggers together. And so this is the one that I hand scored. All right. And then this is the one that Cricut did from my file. So the trickiest part of this entire assembly is getting this straight. This little piece has to attach, and it has to be straight right here. This is the hardest part. So start at the top. And tear tape is kind of a, oh, once you've done it, you've done it. And work your way down. Get your fingers out of there. All right, it's off a little. No one's going to look close. Thanks, Rosemary. So there is your basic bag, right? It's not, I didn't get it perfect. Don't anyone look that close. All right, so there's that one. Let's put you over here, and let's do this one. Same deal. I have to get it close to this one. And I'm going to do the same thing. No, it is nowhere near as hard as that truck. And I'm going to line it up starting at the top. So you need to line up the top, and then you want this edge of the paper lined up with the fold, right? It's not that bad. And then you're going to fold it back out, and you're going to scoosh those in. See? A little scooshing. And then I have the bottom to assemble. So both of these look the same. This is the Cricut one. I probably should have done them in different colors. Okay, so now you're going to take these little ends, fold them in, fold them in, fold the back and the bottom. Oh, Rosemary, it was just dreadful. And then a piece of tear tape right here. I did too. And there you go. All right, so this is the one I created, that I scored. And then I'm going to take a little clip and clip it at the top, okay? This is the one Cricut scored, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold in and in. And what I like about this is it's one time creating that file, and then I save it. And so the next time I come to make this bag, I don't have to measure again. And those of you that have been with me for a while know measuring is not my thing. I don't like the math part of it. I really don't. And that's why I love the Cricut part of it, because the machine does it for me. I design it and then the machine does it. So, whoopsie. You don't get another shot with tear tape. Once you put it down, that's where it's staying. But it really does hold your bag together. And this is a great gift bag for little gifts. Hey, Teresa. It's I know. You did a great job, Lana. I remember you asking me, should I cut it out? No. Oh, goodness. Those of you that don't know what we're talking about, we did a Cricut class with this crazy SVG file that just made us nuts. Made me nuts anyway. All right, so there is this bag, and then we have this bag, right? So you can do it either way, but if I want to do it without the Cricut, then I would have to do it again. Keep my measurements, figure it all out, put it together nicely, and then this just pops on the front. And it looks like you really worked hard with this, and you didn't. It's just a nice, super simple, cute little bag. The designer series paper is everything. And the more you want to decorate, the better you can. You know, you can do lots more with it. And then I just took one of the little library clips, tied a ribbon around it, and popped it on the top. Right? All right, so I'm ready for a party now because I have 3 gift bags made. Little treat bags to put on the table, or maybe gift bags that I'm going to hand out. Little tissue, a gift card, and you're good to go. You could make a cute little card to go on the front of it, or not. Yes, cute Halloween bags, that's a great idea. We've got some incredible designer series paper. Ooh, phones are ringing everywhere. Hold on. Whew. Let's come back to me. I just shut my computer down. And my phone's not happy. Good golly, I don't know what happened. That doesn't usually come through. Sorry, I'm still here. You're just looking at my frozen hands. I'm coming back. Okay, hi. So anywho, glad you came. Have a wonderful weekend. There are still openings in the Cricut class if you wanted to join. If not, I will see you on Monday, and we'll go back to traditional making of cards with just trimmers and not so much fancy electronic doodads, but I wanted to show you that sometimes it's a great tool that you can bring in. So have a great weekend, and I will see you all soon. Bye.